This episode of Ham Talk Live is brought to you by Tower Electronics. For connectors, cables, and more, call 920-435-2973 or visit pl-259.com. And by ICOM. Heard it, worked it, logged it. Visit www.icomamerica.com/amateur for more information about ICOM radios.
It's Ham Radio.
Good afternoon. A rare afternoon episode of Ham Talk Live. It's episode number 321. Hamvention Duck and Ham Quackers recorded on July 9th, 2023. I'm your host, Neil Rapp, WB9VPG. Thanks for tuning in to this episode of Ham Talk Live. Today we're joined by Junie Cassone, N1DUC. And last episode, Paul Bork, N1SFE, was here to talk about Field Day. If you missed that, you can listen anytime at hamtalklive.com or any episode of Ham Talk Live. Just go to hamtalklive.com or on your favorite podcast app or on YouTube. So, yeah, rare afternoon episode. We actually recorded this last evening. And things are really crazy around the house right now. If you haven't checked your calendar, Yoda Camp starts on Sunday up in Ottawa, and so I'm putting the finishing touches on all the preparations for that. And we're actually leaving in the morning, so that's why we have an afternoon one. Because I still have errands to run for camp and some other stuff and some programming stuff that I'm working on tonight. So, rare afternoon episode here. But hope you, have a chance to tune in, to us from Yoda Camp. We'll be on the Youth on the Air YouTube channel. We'll be streaming the opening ceremony, the heiress contact, and then the closing ceremony and some other things. But one of the real cool things to check out are the daily highlight videos. Brian Eshe, WB9QVR, puts those together for us every day. And so you get to see a 2 to 3 minute video of what we did the previous day. So it only takes a couple of minutes to watch. So make sure you check those out. Again, look for Youth on the Air on YouTube, and you can catch that. And we'll be on the air between sessions. So we don't have a real regular schedule. It's not like a special event or a de-expedition, where we're trying to just work everybody. We just give a chance for people to get on the air, during our breaks. And then in the evening hours, 8 to 11 p.m. Eastern time, you should hear us on quite a bit. We've got the heiress contact at 2:42 p.m. on Tuesday. That's July 18th. So we will have that, and then we're going to go to a POTA activation right after that, weather permitting. So from 3 to 5 p.m. Eastern time. We'll be out in a twofer, so you can get the Rideau Canal and also the experimental park up in Ottawa. So you can get us there. And because we shuffled some of the schedule around, we're only going to be there a couple hours. So we're doing a 3-hour POTA activation on Thursday morning. So, from 9 until noon, on Thursday, that would be the, 16, 17, 18, 20th. July 20th, you can catch us there, as well as we'll be on some satellites Wednesday morning and Thursday morning, the 19th and 20th. So, and maybe the 21st if we have some time. So, those are some times that you can catch us on. We've got that advertised on youthontheair.org. So, you can check that out as well as our social media. So, So that's what's coming up. So I'm going to be gone for almost 2 weeks here to make this thing happen. So I'll be back on Ham Talk Live after that, and may send out some updates on social media while we're there. But anyway, that's what's happening here. But we've got Junie and Mochi, her duck, that was at Hamvention. So we're going to talk about that right after this word from ICOM America right here on Ham Talk Live. From base stations to more portable models, ICOM has the best radio for working your favorite bands this summer. Whether outside enjoying sunny skies or inside by the AC, stay cool with ICOM. The IC905 lets you explore the world of microwave. ICOM's new SHF portable, the IC905, covers 2 meters, 70 centimeters, 1.2 gigahertz, 2.4 gigahertz, and 5.6 gigahertz bands, and 10 gigahertz with the optional transverter. There's some industry firsts under its belt as well. It's the first to support the 5 major VHF to SHF bands, the first PoE-powered RF module designed to be at the base of the antenna to eliminate signal loss and be compatible with amateur TV and analog FM mode. It has the large 4.3-inch color touchscreen, real-time high-speed spectrum scope and waterfall display, easy digital mode settings, the GPS, full D-Star functions, and an SD card slot. The IC7300 is a high-performance, innovative HF transceiver with a compact design that will far exceed your expectations. It digitizes RF before various receiver stages, reducing the generated inherent noise in different IF stages. It's the radio that changed entry-level HF. It has RF direct sampling, 15 discrete bandpass filters, the large color touchscreen, spectrum scope, and an SD card slot. The real HF fun starts here. Create your own band opening with the IC9700. This transceiver brings direct sampling to the UHF and VHF weak signal world. It's loaded with innovative features that are sure to keep you busy, like smooth satellite operation with 99 satellite channels, dual watch operation, and full duplex operation in satellite mode. Expect top performance on field day with ICOM's IC9700. The IC7610 is the SDR every ham wants. This high-performance SDR can pick out faint signals in the presence of stronger adjacent signals. The ICOM IC7610 is a direct sampling software-defined radio that's changed the world's definition of an SDR transceiver. ICOM, for the love of ham radio. For more information about ICOM's amateur offerings, visit icomamerica.com/amateur.
The early bird may get the worm, but the second mouse gets the cheese. You're listening to Ham Talk Live with Neil Rapp.
And welcome back to Ham Talk Live. Tonight, Junie Cassone, N1 DUC, joins us on the Orlando Amateur Radio Club at Hamvention Zoom line. Junie is now from Ocean Springs, Mississippi. She spent some time out in Connecticut. She's a veteran and an avid activator of parks, lighthouses, and anywhere she can go portable. She also has 3 ducks, and one of them, Mochi, is with us as well, and we'll hear from Mochi off and on probably as we go, and we'll try for Mochi here in a little bit. But you may remember her back on episode 263. We had her here to talk about POTA and the ducks. So, Junie, welcome back.
Hey, thanks so much for having me, Neil.
Well, it was great finally meeting up with you at Hamvention, and we had all kinds of cool pictures. And I sent out one picture on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram yesterday of us at the Yoda booth with Mochi. And we really enjoyed watching Mochi go around at Hamvention. And one of the things that you have happened to you at Hamvention, if you know, a lot of people know you, or you stand out, you know, kind of like antenna hair girl and Joe with the Dr. Seuss hat and everything. And now you've got the duck. And I know you made the comment that was like, okay, I need to leave because it's going to take me 30 minutes before I can get out of the building because everybody wants to see Mochi.
That's the truth. That's the truth.
That's what happens to you with fame. I'm telling you.
Uh-huh. For sure. For sure.
So, yeah, so she spent quite a bit of time at the Yoda booth, and we were talking, and we had a lot of younger people come up and want to pet Mochi and hear about Mochi and everybody. So tell us some stories about how Hamvention went with taking Mochi around with you the whole time.
Well, I was staying at Cowan Lake State Park with my friends, and we did a POTA activation from kayaks, and Mochi sat on the back of the kayaks, and that was how we started our Hamvention week, was going out kayaking and doing an activation for Parks on the Air. And, he, of course, is like the best duck ever. So, we start the camp out, we start with POTA, and then we get to Hamvention. And I had a booth there. It was not a booth, but a table over in the flea market. We thought we might be able to, talk about our YouTube channel, Ham Quackers. And when I could, I took Mochi around in the quack wagon, and yes, Mochi. And then we walked around, and it ended up, I don't know, we ended up just walking around, and you get stopped every 5 seconds, and whether it's, people quacking or others coming up to me and going, "You're the one with the duck," or "I saw you on QRZ," because there was a video I posted of Mochi and I doing a POTA activation. And of course, I hand the microphone over to Mochi and he quacks on command, basically. If I put a microphone in front of him, he will quack. I have one right here.
Yeah, I was going to say, let's put it to the test here.
Yep. So I
hi,
get right
Mochi.
up to him and, yep. You want to say hi, Mochi? I don't know if you can hear him very well.
Yep, we can hear it.
Okay, so anyway, he walked around with me, and I think we got the most publicity, at least for the YouTube channel, by just walking around in the quack wagon. And this is my first Hamvention, so I didn't really know what to expect. That's why we got a little flea market spot, because we thought, okay, if the duck gets tired or, whatever, we could just stop there and, he'll be able to rest. So many people wanted to see him, though. It was it was a lot for him, and I kind of felt bad a little bit, but by the end of the day, he would rest. He was eating his salad. He was happy. He did just really great with people. He's just so good. I was surprised at how well behaved he was. And I think our highlight, besides meeting up at MFJ and talking with the owner there, but our highlight was, going to the POTA tent and meeting the people that I've made contact with over the years. I can't believe I'm saying years, but yes, over the years. And everybody knew who Mochi was. And that was amazing. I mean, most people have animals and they do activate, but I think Mochi really, he's a trendsetter. He's the one who really started the whole, animal Parks on the Air, get out and do stuff. And he's just so well behaved. I mean, who wouldn't love Mochi?
Oh, absolutely. And so you were, sharing some duck education too, so I know, with some of the really young folks that were at the booth, you were, teaching them. Now, always make sure you ask first, and here's where you should pet the duck, and Mochi did great, but I could tell Mochi was exhausted by the time you all got to the booth.
and I don't know if it was because of how sunny it was, but the weather was so warm, I didn't expect it. So I had to really make sure he was hydrated, he had his water, he had his food, he took breaks. We would go into the air-conditioned buildings and I would make sure that he was doing okay. The problem is when you're walking outside, you get stopped by everybody, every 30 seconds at least, what I tried to do keep my head low and walk straight and just keep going real quick because then nobody can stop you. Right. And then I would take him into shade and let him walk around and everything. I think, I learned a lot from going to this first Hamvention. And I think next year we're just going to walk around in the Quack Wagon and have a little setup for him, maybe in the POTA area, if they're nice enough to do that. They were wonderful. And just to have a little place for him to hang out so that, he's safe and everything. I was going to bring all 3 ducks this year, but that didn't work out quite the way I had anticipated because I decided to swing over to Connecticut and pick up household goods. And I just didn't have the room in my truck to bring 3 ducks and all my stuff. And, if I broke down, it wouldn't be a good experience. So maybe next year, I think that will be the thing. And we're planning on going to Hamcation in Orlando, right, Mochi? Right? Yeah. Are you excited?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. He's ready. And, I'll probably end up bringing all 3 ducks to that.
Okay, well, as long as things go according to plan, I will see you there with all 3 ducks. But
sounds good.
It's it's not every day you see a duck, with people, and so that was kind of a draw. And I know you had tons and tons of people wanting pictures with Mochi and
yes,
and to pet Mochi, and so that was a great experience. But what you were talking about. Marketing your YouTube channel a little bit.
Yes.
And so, this is the first year I haven't had Hammy, the Ham Talk Live mascot, around. So I have this, somebody wear this pig outfit, with the Ham Talk Live t-shirt going around at Dayton. And we figured out that, we talked about having a booth and then I'm so tied up with Yoda and all this other stuff that there was no way in the world I was going to have a podcast booth, but the best advertising was, somebody in the pig costume walking around, for a couple hours. We ended up, in the local newspaper and, everything else. And lots of people took pictures. So you're on the right track.
Yeah, maybe for Hamvention next year, I'll get in the duck suit and put my, logo on a shirt, and we'll have a duck and a pig walking around. Wouldn't that be fun?
That would be. I have my little stickers here and my koozie and my Mochi notebook sitting here.
Yep.
As we're doing this, that Junie was kind enough to give me at Hamvention as well. But how is that for you though? I mean, that's it wore Mochi out, but you've got to take the Quackmobile out. The Quack Wagon.
Yep.
How was that for you dealing with the massiveness of Hamvention?
It was way more overwhelming than I thought it was going to be, but almost in a good way. I think if I didn't have Mochi with me, it would have just been very plain. You go around, you spend a ton of money that you don't really need to be spending money on, and, on radio equipment and such. I mean, who doesn't go to a Hamvention and spend some money? Now, I have to say I was exhausted by the end of the day, and I do have health issues, and things started to bubble up as, the day progressed. I knew when my time was, when it was time, you know what I'm saying? So by the end of the day, I was pretty exhausted, and each day was a little bit more exhausting, but you know what? We ended up going out and doing kayaking, even in the evening sometimes, or just fishing, something relaxing, so that after Hamvention, it was fun. We had a good time. I can cook a mean steak on a fire. Let me tell you, I'm good at cooking steak. Yep. Everybody's got their claims to fame. I'm good at cooking over the fire. And that's what we did. I mean, I was exhausted. I was hungry. I was like, okay, get me some steak. Let's do it. So we made gumbo too. I brought some gumbo mix. It's not, from scratch, but this is the way that I wound down after such an event. So yeah, I would have to say it was pretty overwhelming for my first time, but I think now that I have an idea of how big it is, how many people there are, I can plan better for next year.
Yeah. I know, we had planned on meeting up, and it's like every time we turn around, we check our phones, and it's like, well, I can't right now. Oh, I can't right now.
I didn't think I get to meet you.
It was crazy. It was, and
I was like, hold on, I'm coming from the women's conference. And, I said it might take me 45 minutes or an hour to get to you, but just stay there. Stay at the Yoda booth.
Yeah. Well, we got it. So let me ask you this. Out of all the photos with Mochi, what was the most interesting photo op at Hamvention?
I have to say it would be him sitting on his bag or on something. I can't remember what it was, in the POTA booth with a POTA. They gave him a badge that says Park Quacktivator, and it has Mochi's name on it, and it's got the Parks on the Air symbol, and he's sitting on his bag, and I have the POTA sign in the background. That was my favorite photo that he took at Hamvention. I think that was the best. Besides meeting some of the youth, there was a Abigail. That's the other. If you want to talk about people meeting Mochi and getting a photo with him, I would have to say Abigail, who does 4-H and lives in Xenia. She's not a ham yet, but she's looking forward to becoming a ham. And Carlos was doing his skydive mobile activation or whatever, jumping off out of a plane. And they had ARRL pulled a whole bunch of the youngsters aside, and I happened to be standing there, and they said, we need somebody's call sign because some of these, some of the youth is not, licensed.
Yep.
So yeah, they needed a call sign. I said, yeah, sure, I'll do it. And they paired me up with Abigail, and I asked her, are you planning on becoming, ham radio operator and all this stuff? And she's like, yeah, I'm so into this. I'm so excited. And, we got to know each other, and because she did 4-H, she got to meet Mochi, and oh my gosh, it was like, they fell in love, and I got this picture of them with me, and I'm so happy. And she reached out to me and messaged me on our page on our website, and unfortunately it doesn't show an email that it was sent from. It just kind of comes from, and she's like, I'm looking forward to meeting you again, and thank you for everything, and I'm getting my license, and it really felt great. Like, that photo encompasses what I am trying to have happen, that was my first interaction really with the youth, and I was more than willing to help. I think that it's important to do that. So yeah, that would probably be, those two photos would be probably the most memorable out of everything. Right, Mochi?
All right.
Yep.
All right. Well, we're going to take a break right now, and when we come back, we're going to talk some more with Mochi and Junie, and we're going to talk about the Ham Quackers channel. So we'll do that right after this word from Tower Electronics right here on Ham Talk Live.
Thanks for choosing Tower Electronics. How may we help you today? We have PL259s, we have in connectors, we have SMA adapters, we have BNC adapters. What can I show you today?
Where's the tower?
Well, we don't actually have a tower with us, but we have all kinds of things you can use with a tower. We have power poles, antennas, soldering irons, and meters.
Where's the tower?
Ma'am, that's the name of our company. We can't haul towers to all the Hamfests across the country that we visit, but we have almost every connector and adapter you would need to connect your antenna that's on your tower.
I don't think there's a tower back there. I really don't.
Tower Electronics. Visit us at a Hamfest near you or call 920-435-2973 or see our whole catalog at pl-259.com. Sorry, one thing we don't have is a tower.
So on the Tower Electronics Hamfest schedule, July 29th, they'll be in Winchester, Indiana, and August 5th, they'll be in Elkhart, Indiana. August 12th, they'll be in Huntington, West Virginia, and then the next week, they'll be in Huntsville, Alabama. But you can visit them anytime at pl-259.com.
Ham Talk Live with Neil Rapp.
Welcome back to Ham Talk Live. Be sure you check us out on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. We post about upcoming shows there and some other stuff from time to time. So make sure you add us to your social media repertoire there. Okay, well, we're going to get back to Mochi and Junie in just a minute, but right now it's time for the N9 GSU Joke of the Week.
Now it's time for the Ham Talk Live Ham Radio Joke of the Week, the part of the show where Rick tells us a ham radio joke. The Ham Talk Live Ham Radio Joke of the Week is brought to you by QRM Labs. Now, here's Rick Garrett in 9 GSU with today's Ham Talk Live Joke of the Week.
My buddy and I were doing a POTA activation last week, and it required quite a hike to get to the top of the hill where we were going to activate from. As we were hiking up the trail, we came across this beautiful flowering tree, and my buddy says, "What kind of tree is that?" I said, "It's a dogwood." He said, "How did you know that?" I said, "By its bark."
This has been the Ham Talk Live Ham Radio Joke of the Week with Rick Garrett in 9 GSU. Tune in again next week for another joke from Rick.
Welcome back to Ham Talk Live. We're here with Junie, N1DUC, and Mochi. Say hi, Mochi.
Say hi. Mochi, you want to say hi? Oh, he's getting tired. I don't know. He's
Mochi's getting tired. Okay.
There we go. There we go. Are you done, Mochi? Do you want to quack? Come on. Yeah? Say hi. Say hi, Mochi. He's speechless.
Okay,
what can I say? He has his moments where he's really chatty, and then he has his moments where he's not. But generally speaking, when I'm operating on HF, if I throw that microphone in front of him, he is on it.
Yeah, every time I turn on a video camera, here comes Rainbow the cat. It just happens. Well, let's talk a little bit about the Ham and Quackers YouTube channel. Now, you've started this up, and you know, I know that you know, you want to educate people a little bit about domesticated ducks as well as ham radio and portable operations, and I love the catchphrase, quacking up the ham radio community one ham at a time. So, tell us a little bit about Ham and Quackers.
Sure, of course. Okay, so and a lot of people ask me, why a duck? And I raised ducks as a child, and I connected with them. They have this, because they imprint on their owners, you know, they follow you around. They really think that they are, you know, your mom. And I love the connection, and I've always enjoyed sharing my animals with others. And what a better way to do that and educate people not only about ham radio, but about ducks and animals in general, is to have a YouTube channel. And what my mission is, and this is my mission statement, is to motivate individuals to become excited about amateur radio, participate in activities, support the hobby through education, and ultimately keep the spirit of amateur radio alive. So the mission is basically, you know, get on the air and do what you can to help others to get there. My goal with this YouTube channel, I've got 41 videos, I think, posted. That's mixed with live videos and some shorts that I did. But my goal is to get people who are new, you know, interested and understanding the different facets of the hobby. You know, and for people who've been hams for a while, I just want to have a place where people can come to learn about the hobby and feel comfortable doing so. A lot of people can be very, you know, intimidating. There are some people who are mic shy. I know a lot of YLs or young ladies that, you know, they don't feel comfortable. They've been licensed for years, but they don't feel comfortable talking. Sometimes they just do FT8, but they don't want their voice to be heard over, you know, a microphone. And I just hope that, you know, this can inspire those to do that. And also, the youth is where it's at. And I do hope to become more involved in getting the youth involved. You know, Mochi is just, he's my pet, but he also loves ham radio. I mean, he gets on the air. He's not just a mascot necessarily. I want people to know that, this hobby it's just so vast and so wonderful. And the people are amazing. When Mochi was hot, it was hot. I didn't have an umbrella. I didn't have anything to shade him while I was walking around. And some guy came by and I had just said to my friend, I could really use an umbrella. Some guy walks by 30 seconds later, hands me an umbrella. Who does that? I just feel like the family and Parks on the Air definitely has a family. It's a close-knit group, and I really hope that people who are not a part of it but are interested can come into it. And when they watch the YouTube channel, they feel like, oh, I can do this. It's feasible. It's not so big. That's what I'm trying to do.
Yeah. And Mochi's a great way to kind of break the ice with that and, and show, you can have fun with this. It's not just, let's build everything, that's a great facet of the hobby, but it's not the only one. And,
correct.
And so you can have some fun with this. So,
yes,
I'm just glad that you're having some fun, getting out there with the POTA operations and other lighthouses and all that, and take Mochi along at times, and it draws attention, and the more people are aware of ham radio, I think the better off we are. I'm kind of fighting this whole HOA thing right now, and it's
boy.
I want to talk to our people and get them to realize, what ham radio is. And no, I don't want to put up a 200-foot tower in my backyard. I just want to string up a piece of wire. And, if people don't know about it, then they're not going to be as likely to say yes. And so I think the more that we can make people aware of it, even if they don't become hams, the more mainstream it is, the better off we're all going to be. And I think that's where that can help out a lot. And
and I think that
sounds like a great plan.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
So one of the things that I found is when I tell people about amateur radio from the start and they're not licensed, they go, well, you could just pick up your cell phone and talk to that person. And I go, but that isn't the case if your cell phone towers are down. Well, they'll get fixed. I said, well, if you have a hurricane, let's remember Hurricane Katrina, how long were they without cell phone service? We're talking weeks, maybe even months. So, people, I think the general public doesn't understand how important it is to know how to use emergency communications and also have a good time, just socializing. I think the coolest thing about amateur radio, and it still puts chills down my, I get goosebumps on the back of my neck. So when you make that contact, with this antenna that really is not much more than a wire, right? And you make a contact in Puerto Rico. You don't even know the person, or, you make a contact in Poland or Germany or, oh gosh, anybody who gets New Zealand or Australia. I haven't made that contact yet, but to say that you did it, and you might not know the person, but the idea that you even were able to speak with somebody, bouncing the signal off the atmosphere, it's amazing. It's mind blowing. Even Morse code, to think about CW and sending Morse code as a means of communication and that it actually works. It is scientifically, it is an amazing thing. And okay, I could go on my cell phone and call you too, but I like the challenge because my brother, he's up in Virginia. I'm down in Mississippi. My friend Angela, N3ARB, and her husband, Matt, that's K2EAG, which you'll see on the show. They live up in New York, and we actually, over the weekend, we were able to make contact on 20 meters. And it's that challenge of are we going to be able to make it? Can we make it happen? And then once you get it down and you might have a house an antenna at your house, and it's very consistent. You keep it up all the time, so you're pretty much going to have consistent results. Well, then you start getting into home building. And then when you make it, a card antenna, then you start, like my brother is always trying new antennas. So he'll be like, hey, Mochi, stop. Sorry, he was touching the computer.
Uh-oh.
Distractions. Sorry. Duckstractions.
Duckstractions. Yes.
So anyway, my brother will make an antenna and want me to test it out with him because he knows consistently my antenna does work, but will his work? So we have a lot of fun. It's just a great hobby, and it brings people together. And regardless of how, you're able to communicate. So my YouTube channel, I try to make it fun. I don't want it to be boring. I don't want it to be me sitting at a table or a bench at a park making contacts. It's about showing people what's out there. Some people aren't going to like what I put out there. I mean, not everybody's going to enjoy the show, and I knew that from the start. So, for example, my video about, being a member of a club and how important it is. Well, I'm not talking about the people who are older who have been doing this for a long time and they've been hurt by, going to a club that didn't work for them. There are clubs out there. You're always going to have politics in a club. There's always going to be something like that. But if it overall is educating its members and getting people on the air and is a positive experience, then I wouldn't know as much as I did. I wouldn't have learned as quickly as I did if I didn't have a club. So sometimes the clubs are great and sometimes they're let's meet on a Saturday morning and have breakfast, which is fine. That's perfectly fine. But, you have to take this for that. Some clubs, they end up shutting down because there are so many problems. So you have to take things, one step at a time, one day at a time, right? So some of these videos I post, I think you'll find I just had a recent one of us doing the kayak activation from Cowan Lake State Park with my friends, Angela and Matthew. And we had such a blast. And I show, okay, this is us doing daytime. This is us doing nighttime. And then what did we use? How do we put it together? How can I help those people who want to do something like this, who have kayaks, get on the air? Or somebody who doesn't have a kayak and they thought it was so cool. Well, now they know what products to kind of search for, what things to look out for so that they can do it too. The goal is to get people on the air and having fun.
Well said.
I know.
Well said. Quacking up the ham radio community one ham at a time. So there we go. Well, Junie, tell everybody how to find Ham and Quackers, and then we're gonna wrap this up.
Okay, so we have a website. It's hamandquackers.com. You can also go to our YouTube channel, which is Ham and Quackers 73. We have an About section, which also links you to our Facebook. We're working on an Instagram. Once again, we just started this YouTube channel and we're still, working on building a social media base. Right now, YouTube is where we're really on, what we do. But on our Facebook page, we do update it and we try to just reach out to everybody. But yes, Ham and Quackers 73. On YouTube. And well, we hope to see you there. It's a fun little channel and we're trucking along. That's what I like to say. We're trucking along. Right, Mochi?
Yep. All right. Mochi got a couple of words in there. So
yeah.
Well, thanks so much for coming back and talking about this and we'll be watching the Ham and Quackers YouTube channel and looking forward to seeing you and Mochi down at Hamcation and probably, I'm guessing, next year at Hamvention as well. Thanks for being here.
Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it. Quack, quack.
Quack, quack. Bye, Mochi.
Say bye.
Yep. All right. So that is a wrap for this edition of Ham Talk Live. I'd like to thank my guest, Junie Cassone, N1DUC, and everybody out there in cyberspace for listening, and invite you back next time. And we'll be gone for a couple of weeks here again, getting ready to leave for Ottawa for Yoda Camp. So make sure you listen for VE3 Yoda. And Junie, I know you'll be interested in this. We're going to have 15 QRP stations on the air from a twofer in Ottawa. So it's the Rideau Canal and the Experimental Farm. So we'll have 15 stations on the air simultaneously on every band and mode we can come up with. To keep them all separated, for a Parks on the Air activation, one day. So make sure you check that out. But listen for VE3 Yoda, and, check out youthontheair.org for a schedule for all of that. And for a schedule of upcoming guests, visit hamtalklive.com. So for now, this is Neil Rapp, WB9VPG, saying 7375. May the good DX be yours.
So 73s to you and your family. I'll be seeing you further down the log. Yeah, 73s to you and your family. I'll be seeing you further down the log.
It's hard to believe that you're into the deal, 'cause you sound just like a local up here. Why don't those whistling Mediterraneans check it with frequencies clear? We're warm and cozy in our shacks, and we have talked about thousands of things, about shoes.